is just a little bio on me. I'll just give you a quick snapshot of myself. I've been in this particular clinical research business in one form or another for now close to 4 decades, so it's quite a while, and I've been on both sides. I started out as a coordinator in academia. I'm based in New York City, and that's where I worked as a coordinator. I was also a site manager, and then I moved into industry first as a CRA, then as a study manager, and had quality roles, quality oversight, was a site selection specialist, which is one of my favorite jobs. That's why this particular presentation is one of my favorite ones to give. And here we are today. About 7 years ago, I decided to go independent and now focus. I'm an independent consultant focusing mainly on training, but definitely quality oversight. So I know I can't see you, but that's a photo of me. Okay, so our objectives here are basically, we're going to look at the steps that we use to evaluate a site. And we're looking at it both from the sponsor and the site perspectives. We're looking at how does a site evaluate a study, how does the sponsor evaluate a site. Is it a good fit? We're going to look at some key questions I feel are important to ask during the feasibility assessment. And then we're going to look at some ways that sites may become more preferred by sponsors by implementing some of the best practices I might suggest here. The goal is the site selection. We can approach it from both the sponsor and the site perspective. Now, what does the sponsor want? Basically, there are 3 things. Okay, they want to have a high-quality site that will deliver timely data, good quality data. They want them to meet their enrollment goals, and they want them to come in within budget. So they want them to be fast. They want them to be efficient with that and within budget. So it's really time, money, and quality. And as it's famously been said, you can usually get 2 out of the 3. You're really lucky if you can ever get the 3, but usually you either have to spend a little bit more money than you thought, or extend it by some more time, and so on. Now, with the site, what does the site goal want? They want a protocol they can do. They want an operational protocol, something that's practical for them to implement. Sometimes the studies are written and there isn't that, quote, feasibility of the protocol that goes out to real-life type investigators to see in the real world, will this actually work? Is our inclusion criteria too strict? Or something, it could be something simple as logistics, that we are asking a patient to come in too often, and we have maybe invasive tests and this sort of thing that will turn off a potential subject. So they want an operational protocol. Now, what they sometimes are intrigued by is that it's a novel treatment, and they have the scientific interest in doing this study. They may have a patient that they just don't run out of options, or they may have a patient with a disease for which there is no cure, and therefore are attracted to taking on a study that might help out with that situation. They want to make sure they have an adequate budget, that they can pay their bills, they can pay their staff, and that they can meet that and not take a loss. And then they want some support from the sponsor, whether that be through help with advertising or just help with training. They are looking to see these pieces. So these are the varying goals that the sponsor has versus the site. So we'll be looking at it from both ends. And I think it's important, even as sponsors, to understand where the site is coming from. What are they expecting from us as sponsors? So a sponsor challenge, okay? Now you know this very well because you're sitting on that end of the spectrum. You have to decide where you're putting your sites. Okay, and when you get into those larger trials, phase 3 in particular, they're usually large, multi-center global trials. Where are the sites going to be? What disease are we studying? Is it more prevalent in a particular area? Do we have to go to a particular country, particular area of the U.S.? Where are we finding our subjects? What are the resources? If we're going into undeveloped areas, we have to think about the resources that are going to be limited. What is the staffing? And where is our footprint as a company? Generally, there's a footprint in terms of which countries we need to be operating in. Budget concerns, of course. And then startup times. We have to think about the regulatory. in terms of how quickly will a country come on board? Do they have to jump through more hoops in a particular country? Do we have to do certain things to kind of get them on board? And all of those regulatory requirements that exist.